All right, perfect. So welcome everybody. Joe Russo here, the CEO of Palm Beach Tech. We are delighted to be here with Ashley Kays, the founder of CodeTeachers. She is a longstanding member of our tech industry, very experienced, and is also very much ingrained in now teaching education, teaching technology to those who are interested in getting into the field, students who are looking to learn. So she's going to be talking a little bit today about how technology is not a next-gen essential. So I'm kind of conflicted on that topic, actually. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to, just say this is another South Florida Tech Talk. We're doing all of these virtual now, so you can find these all on Facebook, all online. And we've had some really great people take part. So Ashley, I'm going to unshare my screen, but feel free to take it away. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I just want to say thank you to you and to Nikki for all that you guys are doing for the community all the time, and really happy to be here. So Nikki mentioned the other day that I could speak to you and to others about kind of technology, and by saying it that it's not a next gen essential, we're kind of being cheeky, because it's really that it's not that it's next gen, it's that it's now. There's no reason to wait and think, well, technology, they're going to be able to do that tomorrow, they're going to be able to do this tomorrow, that tomorrow. No, it's right now, and the more prepared we are now, the better suited we'll be moving forward through situations like we're in, unfortunately, at the moment, as well as things that continue to come to pass all the time, hopefully more positive things than the current situation underway. But let me share my screen with you. Okay, so one of the questions I was going to ask you before we get started is, are people going to be able to ask questions, or do I just show them kind of
everyone can ask questions, so we're keeping track of that on Facebook.
Okay, so they're going to talk to you there, and you'll know.
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
Track of it right here.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. So the first thing, we already spoke about, which is I'm Ashley. And the reason that I'm here is to talk about my favorite subject, which is technology, and specifically technology education. I started in this field when I was really young. I'm older than, probably much older than Joe, actually, and I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. My first job was as a graphic designer for a real estate magazine. And when I was younger, I was really, really shy, and technology was something that I used to give me a voice to find a way to communicate with others. Because what would happen is they would come around and they'd be like, how did you make that? How did you do that? And I'd say, oh, let me show you. Watch, it's this easy. You can do it too. And what I noticed is that helped me really come out of my shell. So fast forward many years and many different things later, I started CodeTeachers for my kids, actually, because I wanted them to feel confident. I wanted them to know that they could be creators. I wanted them to take risks, good risks, and to be entrepreneurs, at least to know that they could, even if, they wanted to work, for corporate America, no problem at all. But I wanted them to know that there's a lot of world out there and they should reach out and grab it. So it actually ended up working really well. I started with my daughter, and her friends joined in, and then more friends joined in. And the next thing you know, it was spread all over Orange County, and recently moved here to Palm Beach County, not too far from where my daughter was originally born, in Miami. So full circle, I guess. But what I would always teach the kids, and what I think is so important, is that we want to go out into the world and we want to do well in technology or life. But more importantly, we want to go into the world and we want to do good, which I think Palm Beach Tech does all the time. And I see you guys doing so many good things to help the world every day. And that's what I really wanted others and kids that I teach to do, to know that when you learn these really important skills, it's important that we use them the right way, and that whenever we can, we give back and find ways to tap in. And for example, right now, one of the things you're hearing about on the news a lot are these models, all this data that they're constantly mining and trying to figure out, where things are coming from and where they're moving. Well, all that is data science. So I'll talk to the students about data science and machine learning. So sometimes people will say to me, "Oh, but I'm not a coder," and I'll say, "Well, that's no problem. You don't have to be a coder to be in technology. There's a million different ways to fit into this world." The nice thing about understanding how to code is that you learn some creative ways to think. You learn how to solve problems. You learn how to um, find creative ways to save time. So for example, I think if this audience is familiar with code.org, I think one of the examples they use is that, if we wanted to handwrite a card to every Facebook member, it would take us years and years and years and years, probably more than our lifetime, but using code, we can simplify and automate tasks like that. And teaching kids about things like that can help them understand how powerful understanding something like code and design really is. And the cool thing about being a designer or a coder is that you're really an inventor. So whether or not you end up in, programming or in design, there are plenty of opportunities to be able to speak fluently to those tech types, and project management, data science, so many opportunities. So one of the things that I was going to show you guys, if it's okay, I opened up a few things that I think are kind of good ways to get started for kids, for example, um, and for adults, actually, because we're just big kids. So one of the things that I love to use, at least as a starting point, totally free, is Freecodecamp. And the nice thing about this is you can build projects for charity and kind of start to show some credible work in your portfolio. So it's really win-win. You're learning a new skill, you're also giving back, you're strengthening what you know, and really providing maybe something that a charity might not otherwise be able to afford. You're really empowering them to have kind of leveling the playing field, I guess you could say. And meanwhile, you're benefiting too. So this is a cool site. You probably have seen it before, you guys. Some of you may not have, but you can just, I'll be honest, I don't think it's the most beautiful interface, but I am a designer. So, but the nice thing is it is very easy to move through. So you can learn lessons of all different types of languages. So if you don't mind, let me see, does anybody have any questions they want to ask so far? Because there's so many different ways I could take this.
So I just posted in the Facebook just now, and we'll have there's a little bit of delay right between when you're saying it and when it's reaching Facebook. So just so you know, but
Okay.
yeah, but we can. I'm keeping track of it. So however you want to move on, and all we're seeing right now is education ops on there. So
didn't switch.
yeah. So
Why? Hang on one moment. Let me do new share. I'm glad that I asked you.
Yeah.
Share.
I was
So you
going
don't
to actually.
see
Yeah, now I see Freecodecamp. Yeah.
You do? Okay, that's odd. Okay, thank you. Sorry about
No
that.
worries. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you too much, but
Well, no, please do. I don't want to
you're on
just go on.
Freecodecamp now. Yeah.
Yeah, have a monologue here. Okay, cool. So this is one I would say that I think this is for a little bit older of an audience. You can definitely use this for teens, but if you're under, let's say 10, you're probably gonna, they might find this one a little boring comparably. So a good place for them to start if you're looking for free resources. That's what I'm showing you first. Another one is code.org. So recently, every parent in America became a teacher. I mean, we always were, but now we're a new type of teachers. And a lot of people have been asking for resources and things for kids to do, at home and kind of to keep learning. And the cool thing is that a lot of educational and gaming sites are offering either free or discounted materials to really help everyone through what's going on right now. Code.org has been free from inception. I think they started in 2012, not too far behind or around the same time CodeTeachers started. But they're a nonprofit and they have so many good exercises on here. So you can dive right in, for example, if you want to start with kind of an easy place. you can dive right into projects and choose something like dance party. And it's a pretty fun way to play with the kids. You know, this one is using Blocky, and then it's actually behind the scenes using JavaScript, so you can expose it. But they have, you know, varying levels of complexity in terms of project types on here. So that's that one. Another one, hopefully my screen is flipping over. This one's Team Treehouse. This is one of my early favorites. I've been a fan of theirs for many, many years. And they have, what's nice about what they do is they have tracks. So you can pick a specific track and you can learn pretty much everything you need to know to, at least from a try it out perspective, understand a subject. So you can at least watch and get some insight into how to become a web developer, for example. Still going to have to put it into practice to really sharpen and develop that skill. So all of these are kind of streaming or online tools. There are also a lot of excellent bootcamp type providers. And the one that I work for, besides CodeTeachers, is called Thinkful. And I already have that open over here, I think. So they're doing something pretty cool, plug for them. They are giving you a month free. And the neat thing about Thinkful is they actually are a boot camp that takes you from, let's say, 0 to hero, or you want to move, let's say, change careers entirely. They have subjects in data science, engineering, user experience, marketing, and a few others. Right now, for them, I work on the engineering track and the user experience design track, and I can tell you that they put a lot of care into making sure that their students are employable. So it's all about real world skills. Like, are they learning what they need to know to work in this job? And I used to work for Disney World and NCR. And I know that we follow the best practices that we learned from these, you know, hopefully sophisticated giants. Another site is Codecademy. This one, they have a free program as well. And the reason I'm jumping around a bit is because this applies to all ages. And right now, some of us have more time on our hands. Some of us don't. You know, if we're in tech, like a lot of us are, my task list has actually increased recently because people have been asking for more and more, but not everybody is in that scenario. So, you know, it's a good time to try something new. Also to maybe to decompress from what we're facing right now. So one of the things that I was going to mention, I'm not telling you that you have to do this, but a lot of times I'll hear people say, "Oh, I don't have time. You know, I want to learn something new, but I just can't find the time." So what I say to them, what I propose is start with 15 minutes. You know, find 15 minutes that you can buy back from yourself to invest in a better tomorrow, really. And I started with only 15, and then I went to more and more and more time to where I don't even watch TV anymore. I'll occasionally watch a movie, but any time that I would have put toward TV now goes just toward education or the next thing that I was going to talk about, which are side hustles. So before I move on to that, does anybody have any questions or?
Yeah, Nikki was actually asking a question about some of the programs you just went over, so Freecodecamp and Codeorg, asking how well a parent can follow along with them. So if they're trying to get them in front of their kids right now, with obviously being home all day, how simple is it for a parent to help guide their children through that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nikki, and I appreciate that because I know you're pretty technical yourself there. What I would say is that honestly, a lot of the kids programs are actually really fun. And not only are they fairly easy to follow, I forgot to tell you one of my favorite ones, so I'm actually glad she asked that. This one is so fun that I actually like to do the classes myself. I mean, obviously I have CodeTeachers, so I'm just going to be honest and tell you that anytime I love a subject, I just make a class on it because I'm like, well, I want to know everything there is to know about this, and there's really no better way to learn it than to have to teach it. And I'm sure you guys know that pretty well from doing these tech talks and things like that. This one is really fun. It used to be called Jam. You may have seen their advertisements in the past on Facebook, but they're now called DIY.org. And I'm going to tell you honestly, they are so fun that I'll play with them even when the kids don't. So the answer is that many of them are easy to follow. Some are a little more involved, but it also relates to the language that you're learning. So for example, if you're going to be going through Freecodecamp and you're going to learn a subject like React with your teenager, obviously it's going to take some probably preloaded skill versus, maybe moving through something like HTML, just because there's maybe a little more prerequisite required. But if you dive into something like this one, DIY.org or Skillshare, that's another really fun one. They just have fun stuff to play with. So for example, if I go in here and I want to, learn about animating, I can just dive right in and watch the video with my child and help them, with their lesson. And then, if I'm an honest mom, I can say, that was fun. I learned something new too. And then, if you just want to act like you already knew, you can be like, oh, good job. I'm glad you're keeping up with me. I'm just kidding. But the neat thing is that there are plenty of places to learn. So if something's not resonating with you, just move on to the next one. I've studied so many different online providers because I'm always looking for ways to offer better courses myself. But I also some of them, are more meaningful to me. I like stuff that's a little bit funny and has some humor. Obviously, you can find plenty of stuff on YouTube too, but this one they do a great job. DIY.org. So that was my long-winded answer. So another thing we can do with our kids right now and ourselves is start thinking about, if we take our current circumstance that we're in right now, I'm not sure how many of us felt like, oh my gosh, am I going to have a job? What am I going to do? How am I going to make money? What's going to happen to me, to my family? Well, one thing that I know is I don't want to feel that way. I don't want my kids to feel that way. I don't want anybody to feel that way. So the easiest way to control our future is to have not only a skill, but a backup plan, some side passion that we enjoy, that not only gives us hope, it gives us something interesting to study and learn. So I'm always kind of looking around for, I don't personally like the term side hustle, but it's a popular way to say, throw the net out there and see what you're interested in and what can potentially bring some additional revenue to you. So obviously certain fields are doing really well right now, medical, takeout, not necessarily sit downs for the restaurants, unfortunately, but there are certain areas that are still thriving. Anything probably in technology for the most part is doing pretty well because we're the infrastructure that's needed for virtually everything. So what I would say is that if nothing else but to secure your future, invest a little time every day in learning these skills, and most certainly encourage your kids. So one of the things that I'll do with my son, for example, he loves Lua and he likes Roblox. So a lot of parents are like, oh, I'm afraid. I don't know if I want my child to play Roblox because it can be dangerous. And the truth is, there are a lot of things to be careful of when your kids are on the web, but you can install tools like Studio and several others that let you monitor who's trying to interact with your child and protect them. So leveraging skills or interests that they already have and letting them use that to sharpen, let's say an interest like programming or design. Roblox is a really popular game. And the neat thing is that it has a whole building studio that goes with it. So you can program in Lua with Roblox, or you can use kind of their world builder. And there are lots and lots of videos. I mean, I offer a class on this. There's lots of places that offer classes on this. But the neat thing is that you can play with your child. Go let them get it. My son would be like, no way, mom, at first. But then he would actually get into it. He's 12. His name's Christian. But at first he might push back a little. But after a little while, they're going to be like, wow, you're actually pretty cool. So you can play this game. So just go in and play with them, and then start building a game with them so that they kind of see that you care and you're interested, and then let them take off from there and keep getting better and better at what they're doing. My son is he's so good with Lua that I just kind of sit back and watch him like, yeah, he's got that down. So Next thing, are there any other questions, Joe, or just keep going?
Yeah, there were actually two.
Okay.
The first one was, which is a better fit for adults to learn? So of all that you went over, I'm not sure if you have a few more to go over in addition to that.
Sure. Okay. So the cool thing about online education is there are a lot of choices. And the bad thing is that there are a lot of choices. So I think it depends on how serious you are about it. So if you're ready to really dive in and make this a career move, and you feel like investing in something seriously, then I would go into a program like Thinkful or similar. Um, if you just want to learn and you're taking some time on your own to study and explore skills, then first thing that you need to think about is, what are you interested in? And sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know where to start. Okay, that's a very fair answer. So that means you're going to have to do a little exploring. So the first thing that I would do is think about what are the most popular languages and how are they being used right now. So first I'm going to start with coding. So JavaScript is the most widely used programming language in the world, and many things are built upon it, like React and Angular. And some of you know what I'm saying, and some of you don't. But the point is that it's a very good base because you can keep adding and adding and adding to it. So if you don't know where to start and you're interested in the web, start there. If you don't know where to start, but you're more interested in what you see on TV in terms of data, and you're like, whoa, how do they do those models? And that is so cool. And I want to be able to warn people when pandemics are coming. You might be interested in being a data scientist, and you might be interested in studying languages like Python. The neat thing about both JavaScript and Python is that they're well fit for all ages. So, and when I say all ages, I really mean 7 and up, because you need to be able to read. Younger than that, you want to go into a visual language like Blocky, Scratch, one of those, Code.org that we were looking at. So picking either JavaScript, Python, Ruby on Rails, things like that, you are setting yourself up for a very in-demand language. And now you can start exploring. Okay, so how do we pick which course to take? Well, besides the ones that I already mentioned, it's a matter of what you enjoy learning from. So for myself, I really, really like these Team Treehouse courses. They're well made. I've taken Pluralsight. Code School is very good too. I've taken a lot of them. I love the way they present their information. It resonates with me. They're funny. They do a great job laying them out. I feel like I've learned something. So for me, that resonates. If I only had $0 to spend, then I might have to take Freecodecamp. So for example, if I go to Freecodecamp, sorry, I just made a typo, sorry. If I go to Freecodecamp, you're gonna see that you can learn virtually anything you want. But you're gonna have to do a little more work. They're not gonna spoon feed it to you quite as easily. You're gonna have to go in and figure out what makes sense to do next. And you know, it's gonna require a little bit more of planning on your part. Whereas the other one, they kind of spoon feed it. Oh, you learned that, now learn this. Another really great one, I think, if you're interested in Vue, is the founder of Code School started one called, is it Vue School? Sorry, I forgot for a second. Vue Mastery, sorry. Okay, so this is also a very good one for people that are interested in Vue, which is another language that relates to JavaScript. So now, if you're interested in design, like I love design, and sometimes people ask me, to become a user experience designer, do you have to know anything about code? And the answer is really no, you don't. You can start, and you can start with an interest in understanding humans. So I want to know why this person is making this decision. I want to understand kind of what's making them tick. So in that case, you would be well suited to explore and study some things related to user experience and also visual design potentially. And I want to show you this one. This is one of my favorites. This person actually has a really cool story. He lost his visa to work in the United States and took his knowledge and created an online course about Sketch, which became one of the most popular competitors to Photoshop for design. And now they offer courses on Sketch, Figma, which is a great tool to learn to do visual design, also user experience. So some of you are thinking, well, I don't really know what she's talking about. Let me just give you a quick little example. Come on, little guy. Out of my way, sorry. Oh, that's the one I have open, sorry.
You trying to pull up another document there?
Yeah, I was going to, but I think it just got stuck, sorry.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll share that one with you guys after, but
Yeah.
basically it's really cool graphics and things like that related to being a user experience designer. So the next thing that I was going to mention, unless anybody has any questions.
We have one from Nikki again.
Okay.
There's a few other comments in here as well, but she was asking about adults in coding education and what are the best skills, which you also hit on, but maybe what more formal programs there are. Obviously you're going over resources, but does CodeTeachers offer anything program-wise? Are there other options out there where people can get maybe a more formalized version, maybe a cohort-based version of tech education?
Absolutely. So starting at a base level, the only reason I didn't mention the obvious, which is the university, is that it takes a bit more time and investment to do that, and also a lot of university programs, don't kill me, universities, but they're a little bit behind, so they're not keeping up to speed as fast as they would like to with the technology education. In many cases, there are some exceptions, thankfully. University of Central Florida has a really good tech hub. They're all trying, but technology moves so fast, and getting curriculum approved is quite a process. So our next step that we'd look at would be boot camps. So in terms of formal examples, first I'm going to start with Thinkful. Another really great one is Flatiron. Both of those are very good. Thinkful and Flatiron are for a bit higher budgets, but the nice thing is that they don't charge you until you actually get a job in the field. So that's a nice thing that they do. Now, in terms of CodeTeachers offers classes in almost anything you can think of, whether it's learning to code, learning to be a user experience designer, learning to become an instructional designer, like I am for Thinkful, learning to launch a course online. So there's lots and lots of different ways. And the nice thing about the way that we teach it, I was trying to be careful not to plug myself, to be honest, because I didn't want it to seem like an ad, but just being honest. But one of the things that we really try to do is think about what do you need to know and how can we help you get to your goal? So in other words, if you have a specific objective in mind, like I want to work for Disney World in user experience, just pretending, well, what's it going to take to get you there? What are the skills that you need to know? And potentially from a mentoring perspective, how can we help you have the right mindset to get through the whole interview process and everything? And CodeTeachers classes are very, very affordable. And to be honest, if someone can't afford it, we give scholarships. So that we never turn anyone away because of money. And a lot of programs right now are doing I would say, trying their best to help given the current circumstances, and are either waiving fees or giving reduced tuition or very discounted rates to support educators and learners everywhere. So Another formal program, let me think. There's a really good boot camp at University of Miami. That's a little further, but they have great programs in cybersecurity. When I was younger, that's where I took my Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. I mean, they're very good as well. So it's kind of almost like, what are you interested in? You know, and then from there, we have more resources to support us than ever before. If we need an answer, we can find it in seconds. And I'd be happy to help. Just email me and I can point you in the right direction. I've tried a lot of them. Another thing I was going to mention that I try to encourage people to do a lot is to think about, what do you enjoy? What are you really good at that you could turn into something that makes money for you? So if you're good in a particular subject, or so I'm just going to pick Nikki for a second. Sorry, Nikki, you're my guinea pig and you can't speak. But you know, here we have someone who's so great at organizing, bringing people together, doing events. She knows tech. She knows all these different things. You know, she has an organization for women. So what would someone like that do to monetize? Well, they can teach other people how to do some of what they do. How do you go viral on the web? How do you do social media marketing? How do you draw large crowds? What does it take to create a nonprofit? So all of these things are skills that we have that we can tap into that someone else is willing to pay for. So we can turn those into online courses. So I'm not trying to turn this into a sandbox or anything, soapbox, sandbox, whatever it is. But the point is, you know, we can be in charge of where our future takes us. Between learning and deciding that what we know is valuable to someone else, we can convert that into money and potentially entrepreneurial opportunities for us. And then we can use that to give back to the community and help other people.
So Ashley, we're almost at time here. So perhaps what are some closing thoughts? I mean, we got some of the questions through. What are some closing thoughts you can have for us? And maybe what's your favorite website that you would go to as an adult or as a kid? What are some just simple concepts or words to live by that you can leave us with?
Well, I think the most important thing that we can do is to manage our mind. So to control our thinking and to stay focused on the positive as much as we can, and to all the time be looking for something to be hopeful about. So rather than letting things get to us or weigh us down, it's kind of keeping our eye on the ball. What am I moving toward? Oh, I learned this new cool thing, so now I'm going to get to do X. Or, oh, I'm going to do this. So whatever it is, it's about keeping our mind focused on the good that we have rather than the negative. And in terms of favorite website, let's see, there's so many good ones. I would definitely have to say one of the educational sites out there. Maybe today I'll pick How It Works. It might not always be that, but something about learning or Thingiverse, I think it is. That's a really good one too. Yeah. Maker projects.
And to hit on Dennis Shea's question on Facebook, CodeTeachers is actually Ashley's company. So that's what she does as part of her day-to-day. So it's not an online website, online resources, but it's actually her consulting company. She does a lot of workshops out there. I think we have some things that are in the planning stages with you as far as doing some workshops with Palm Beach Tech as well. But yeah, but you're going to see more from her on that for sure. And there's obviously a lot more going on her website.
Thank you. And right now our site's actually migrating. It's an inconvenient time, but so it's going over right now. It's codeteachers.learnworlds.com. And I do apologize because my intention was not to promote CodeTeachers, but to promote education in general. And that really is the underlying mission. I will tell you honestly my opinion of any training site. And most importantly, just get out there and learn something new. Have some fun and use this time to play with your kids and play with code.
Yeah. Most importantly, spend time with that family, right?
Hey, that's right. Absolutely.
Except my parents are quarantining themselves from me right now.
My dad is too, actually. He's right here on the phone with me. He's always my biggest fan, but he's quarantined as well, so I miss him.
Well, hey, Ashley, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone being on the call. There's 18 people watching right now, and obviously plenty more will see this in days to come. So hope you have a great rest of your week. Hope everyone else enjoyed, and feel free to send us any other questions, messages. We can always connect you with Ashley.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.